What's this? Colby Covington is actually willing to fight a legit contender who's up and coming and in their prime? What? Nate Diaz says, I'm not surprised, motherfucker. Well, hearing this, I'm surprised, motherfucker. I did not expect to hear this. So Colby Covington on Submission Radio in an interview today. This guy literally addressed almost every contender in the welterweight division. And this guy wants all the smoke. Like, when did Colby Covington's balls drop? This is a whole new turn from Colby Covington. Colby wants to fight Della, Madelena. He ducked Ian Gary, but he wants to fight JDM, who I think is arguably a tougher fight and a more dangerous fight. But Colby says, we've been talking about this fight with JDM. I think it makes a lot of sense. He's undefeated. He's hungry. He's fearless. He's an exciting fighter. So I think that's a fight that fans will be intrigued with. It's a top contender fight that establishes who's the next contender for the belt. Wow. This is a whole new turn from Colby Chaos Covington. I almost don't even recognize him here. And even though Colby was not deserving of no goddamn interim title fight, he was willing to step up and save the day at UFC 310 against Shavkat Rakhmonov. Even though, again, not deserving, he was willing. He was talking about Shavkat. He was talking about fighting him. He says he still wants to fight him down the line. Yeah, wow. He actually wants to fight Shavkat too? I mean, that's a horrible matchup for him, but he wants that fight. He wants that smoke. And he wants JDM? What? And he was actually being respectful of Della Madelena. Usually Colby Covington trashes like everybody in his interviews, but this interview he was tame. I didn't finish it actually, but he didn't talk as much trash as like he normally would, which is surprising. And usually Colby Covington in these interviews, he always ducks questions about anyone that's not like, if it's not about a fighter who's like, over the age of 35 or in their 40s or on a losing streak, Colby Covington will just duck that question and say, who? Never heard of him. And then he'll just start talking about Dustin Poirier or Kamaru Usman or Leon Edwards or whoever is the champion he'll talk about and call out. But usually he avoids questions about serious contenders. So this is actually shocking to hear from Colby. I knew Colby Covington wasn't going to fight this year, but he wants to come back early next year and in Australia against Della Madelena at UFC 312. That would be huge. That would be a huge fight to add to UFC 312. I don't know if it would serve as a co-main because I feel like, if someone else headlines over Volk Lopez, which is also in talks to happen, this will probably serve as a feature fight maybe. But maybe Volk Lopez happens at headlines for like the interim title. This could actually serve as a solid co-main event to UFC 312. Now, for as much as I respect this mindset from Colby Covington, as much as I'm happy that he finally grew a pair, does he beat Della Madelena? Does his comeback go successful? I don't think so, man. I know that Colby is now actually showing some balls here. He's showing some fortitude. He actually wants this fight. He wants the toughest fight out there for him. He's not beating Della Madelena simply because Colby Covington is not in his prime anymore. He looked horrible in his last outing against Leon Rocky Edwards. And he's just washed. Like Colby Covington, the approach that he takes the fights now is so much different to how he used to fight. Now Colby Covington fights very patient and conservative. He doesn't push the same pace that he used to. He fights afraid of getting knocked out, which is not like the Colby Covington of old. And we know that Della Madelena has a lot of power. He's got great hands. And Colby's going to be afraid to catch them hands. Colby Covington doesn't shoot takedowns frequently enough as much as he used to. And if he fights JDM the way he fought Leon, where he's trying to dance around the outside and tries to fight off the back foot and barely shoots a takedown, he's getting knocked the fuck out by Jack Della Madelena. But I mean, even if he goes out there trying to push a pace against Jack like his old self, I don't know if Colby Covington's durability is going to be like it once was for him to fight that way. But I mean, if he mixes in the wrestling, he could have a chance. And unlike Gilbert Burns, Colby Covington actually does have a good gas tank. He's not a quitter like Gilbert. Well, I don't want to call Gilbert a quitter, but Gilbert does have quit in him. Gilbert can fade. He can be broken because Gilbert Burns was winning that fight with his grappling until he faded and then got ground and pound finished at the end. I know he got hurt by a knee, but still, the finishing sequence happened because Burns got tired. If Colby Covington has any early success with wrestling and he's able to stick to that game plan effectively, and it's a 3-round fight, Colby could wrestle him to a decision. But I don't know. I don't know if Colby Covington is going to be able to do that. Like, Colby Covington, his wrestling is not as good as it used to be. I mean, he could barely get a takedown on Leon Edwards even when he tried in that fight. Leon Edwards was out scrambling him, taking top position. And Leon, I mean, he did do that to Bilal, but he couldn't do that as much against Muhammad. And he couldn't fully implement or impose his wrestling on Leon until Leon Edwards gassed out. And is he going to need JDM to gas for his wrestling to work? If he does, his wrestling just might not work, and I don't think he's beating Jack Della Maddalena on the feet. And again, Colby's just not the same. It's JDM's time. Colby Covington's time is done. If this was a prime, active Colby Covington, I think he'd beat Jack Della Maddalena. But Colby Covington, I think he really hurt his career with his poor decision-making, his poor choices by being inactive, not fighting frequently enough. It sucks that Colby couldn't keep this same energy like 4 years ago. Like, where was this Colby Covington in 2020, in 2021, or even 2022? Where the hell was this Colby Covington when we needed him? Why did Colby Covington not fight Leon Edwards when Leon was a freaking contender? Why did he wait till Leon was the champ to fight him? Why did he not fight Khamzat Chimaev when Khamzat was on the come up at welterweight? Why did he duck that fight? He had so many chances to be an active top contender, and he's waiting till now to be an active top contender. I just think it's stupid. And I think because of Colby's inactivity throughout the years and the fact that he looked so horrible in his last fight, he's not the same, I don't think he's going to come back any better. And apparently his excuse for not taking the fight in Tampa against Ian is he was helping Donald Trump in the election, which makes no sense because, I mean, literally he was willing to fight freaking Shavkat Rakhmonov, and Shavkat Rakhmonov Shavkat at UFC 310, UFC 310 is literally like a week earlier before UFC Tampa, so that makes no sense. I think for whatever reason, he just does not want to give Ian Gary that fight, although he should. But whatever. Kudos to Colby for actually being willing to take this fight. I can't wait for this fight. I hope Colby Covington can prove me wrong and actually win this fight, but yeah, I just can't see it, man. I can't pick Colby Covington to beat any top contender currently in the welterweight divisions in their prime. Colby Covington has looked as good as he did against guys who are like declining and on losing streaks. When he actually had to fight a streaking champion, I was going to say contender, but he never fought Leon or Usman when they were contenders. He only fought them when they were champions. But when he actually fought these streaking killers who were like on these win streaks and who were at the peak of their careers, Colby Covington didn't perform the same, and he lost those fights. And I just don't see him doing any better against Jack Della Maddalena. I think it's just too late for Colby Covington to be the way he is right now, where he's addressing all these contenders and wants to fight everyone, wants to be active. He should have been like this a long time ago, because now he can't be this way and find success that he could have maybe in his prime, since, he right now is on the decline and pushing 40. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of this Colby interview and this call out? Do you think it's a good idea? Could he beat Jack Della Maddalena? Could this be a redemption tour for Colby Covington? Like and subscribe, turn the notification bell, and peace out.